Welcome once again to Channel 18. And this morning our first guest is Barbara Ann Foley from the Council on Aging. And Barbara Ann has a lot of things she wants to talk about. She's going to start off about housing. And one of the questions that came to my mind is this for new housing or is this for a rental?
And actually, Paul, the answer is neither.
Neither, my goodness.
So what we're going to be doing is having a housing summit, and we're calling it Preparing Today for Your Housing Options Tomorrow. It's never too early. So the way that this will work is it's on Monday, October 3rd from 10 to 12 in the multipurpose room. And as you come in, we will have some probably blueberry coffee cake and things like that in the center of each table, so that you don't have to get up and down and up and down. And there will be 13 speakers that will each speak for approximately 5 minutes. And they have 5 bullet points that we have given them to answer about their option. So let's say it was assisted living, for example. One of the questions is, are there any affordable units? And what do you need to do to qualify? And is there add-ons like food plans? Are they part of the cost or not part of the cost? So that when you get to the very end of the summit, you'll kind of hopefully know soup to nuts. And we are going to have little index cards for questions that will be in the center of each table. And so if you have a burning question, you say, oh, I wish I could ask him or her, XYZ, you would write it down, and then we will have our board members and staff are going to be kind of walking around and looking to see that those cards get used up, and we'll collect them, give them to the speakers. So when the speaking part is ended, then all of those questions will get answered by the appropriate speaker that they, should be answered by. And it will have everything from legal issues to how to downsize, to how to clear out your house. If you've been in your house for 30 plus years like I have, God forbid, you have so much stuff.
Oh, I've done that a couple of times. It doesn't work.
Yeah, and I think truly people will tell me that the only way it actually works is if you physically do leave and vacate your home, which I'm certainly not ready to do yet, but it will have everything kind of in between. The documents that you should have by now as a senior over the age of 65, for example. And the other thing I want to stress is that anyone is welcome, any age. If you have a granddaughter that you would like to bring and she's available during the day and can come with you, we would like to have the multipurpose room filled. And it's not quite there yet in our numbers of pre-registration. And that's the second point, is we would really love it if you could pre-register so that we know how much food to make and how many copies to let the people who are speaking know to have for handouts. So when we get to the end, after all the questions have been done, on the perimeter of the outside of the room are going to be long tables that will have information from each of the groups and even a few more that will be there for you to pick up. So hopefully when you leave, you'll have a lot more knowledge about housing issues and options than when you came in. And we will do a survey and listen to you to see if there's other issues for a part 2. So that's it for housing. We would like by September 26th to know that you're coming, if that's possible, again, so that we can have a food count and number of pamphlets and things count.
That's a pretty big undertaking.
It is, but it's really important, Paul. We find that people, unfortunately, it's our human nature to either wait until the last minute or worse, wait until you're in crisis. A spouse has been sick for a while. Well, when the spouse first got sick, you should be doing something to know, okay, am I going to stay here after he or she passes, or am I going to go where the kids live, or am I going to go into a condo, or downsize to go into assisted living? And if the answer is yes to any of those, then some of that conversation should have been started before the person passes. Well, what happens always is the person waits until after their loved one has died, And now they're in this conundrum, and they're literally by themselves with all their stuff trying to figure out what to do. And when someone's grieving, it's the worst time to do anything like that. I mean, yes, it keeps you busy a little bit, but it certainly would have been much better if you could do ahead of time. So those are the kinds of scenarios that our social services department and myself see almost every day. And we're hoping that if people come and get some information, even if it isn't for their own situation, perhaps for a neighbor or a parent or a sibling or a friend, they can bring back information to that person and say, you weren't able to go to this summit, but I got this really great information, and then share it. And we do recommend to people, if you get a bag of information and you get through it and say, okay, I'm good now, I don't need it anymore, instead of tossing it, it would be helpful if you could, again, pass it on to another friend or family member. So the next big thing I wanted to talk about is we have heard from a number of people that they would like to see different kinds of programming here at the community center. And one of them that we've come up with, a couple, are eventually we would like to get to being able to do a ping pong tournament here. And so in the meantime, what we've done is reached out to other councils on aging to say, hey, if you have any ping pong players that would like to come down to Harwich, we have the tables, we have the time, we'd love to have you come, and eventually we'd like to be able to do a fun little competition. So when those newsletters went out for September, we've actually heard from a number of folks, and we've added to our little mix down the hall of folks that are playing, and they seem to be having quite a good time. So that was one idea that we had heard from people, and we put into place, and hopefully down the road a piece we'll actually be able to have a tournament. The other is these like competition type ropes. We're working with the rec department to see if we can't fulfill that as well. And they are the kind of roping that you see that holds boats down, the thick, braided, very heavy gauge ropes. And the idea that we're thinking about is to have seniors and high school students, one on each end. And as you go to move those ropes, you're getting, complete upper body exercise. But it's something that you could do sitting in a chair. So as those kind of things came about, we started to talk as a staff and listening to some seniors and said, you know what, instead of us always coming up with the ideas, let's ask them what they want. So we're going to have...
Turning the tables on them.
We are. We're going to have 2 focus groups on the same day, one in the morning at 10 and the other at 5:30. So hopefully we can pick up some working folks or people who can't attend in the morning. And it'll be on Monday, October 24th. We are asking for people age 59 and above, and each group can only hold 12 seniors. And we have about half that on each one right now. So if you're interested, we would love to hear from you what your ideas are and what you think would be great to have at the Council on Aging for us. And the way that that works, if you've never been to a focus group, is there's no bad idea, there's no crazy idea. There's a kind of a facilitator, moderator, and they throw everything up on a wipe and write board or a easel with paper, and you put those ideas up, and then you kind of work on whittling them down a little bit and try and come up with a number that are what they call executable. So we'll see. Hopefully you all will come up with some fun ideas, and we'll have fun trying to implement them. Again, that's on the 24th. If you know anyone or happen to be in a position, we are calling this group Buried in Treasures, and it's named after a book, a workbook actually. Kevin, our social services coordinator, is going to be doing the Buried in Treasures support group, and it's sponsored by Cape Cod Hoarding Task Force. It started on September 7th, and if you have an interest, I would give him a call at 430-7551. This program basically, it's a long one. It's a long commitment of 15 sessions over 20 weeks. And it's to help folks to give them assistance in difficulty of how to declutter and be able to recognize how to get rid of things. And he had kind of he had a very full group last year and a little bit of a wait list. So those are the first folks that went into this group. Again, if you're interested, please give Kevin a call. And Kevin and I chatted this morning and decided that unless we hear from you folks out there who have joined us in our bicycle club, we are probably going to stop it on Fridays. We've headed now into mid-September, and it's not quite chilly yet, but the mornings are a little bit cooler. The afternoons are right now about in the 70s. And we're hoping, of course, that the good weather stays, but we don't know that it will. And what happens is we both get down there, and sometimes one shows up or two shows up or no one shows up. And we've, gotten all changed out of our clothes and then go all the way down and come all the way back. And so what we're going to do is cancel until further notice, unless either we hear from you by phone or by email that you would like to join us. And those are on Fridays at 1 o'clock down at the tennis courts at Brooks Park. On the 28th, this is not here. This is down at what we used to call Smuggler's Beach. It's called Bass River Beach Parking Lot now. Sheriff Cummings is having a Cape Cod Senior Appreciation Picnic. And it's a free picnic for seniors that he would like to chat with. They're going to have the Yarmouth Police Department there, the K-9 unit there, and just a lot of fun activities for everybody to see. So that's on the 28th from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. You'd have to get yourself there. But they do ask that, it's in your newsletter, and they do ask that you give them a call if you're going to be able to come. Shine is going to be having some appointments. If you don't already know, Medicare's Part C is having an open enrollment from October 15th to December 7th. And if you have questions about that or need help with that, we would really appreciate if you could make an appointment with Shine to be able to get those questions answered. And the last thing that I want to tell you about is our wonderful Reiki and Zero Balancing. Again, they're all in your newsletter. October 18th is the next Reiki session, and October 6th is the next Zero Balancing session. These ladies come and donate their time for free, and they are always very, very busy, and we would love to have them full. So if you have never had that done and would like to, please don't hesitate to make an appointment for them. And the last thing is, please look at the fire safety in your newsletter. When you have Fire Safety Month, we definitely don't want any seniors getting burned or having fires. There's wonderful points and tips in there. So I think it's a full morning. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening.
You got quite a bit there. Well, good luck.
Thank you.